I'd like to start out by introducing you to Ruby on Rails. Now, I realize that some of you may be coming to this training title already knowing all about it, but some of you may have just heard some of the buzz in the web community and not be entirely sure what is Ruby on Rails. Well, the first thing you need to be clear on is that Ruby on Rails is made up of two parts, Ruby and Rails. And it's going to be important to understand the difference and keep the difference straight in your head. So what is Ruby? Ruby is an object-oriented programming language. It was created in 1995 by Yukihiro Matsumoto, who the community often refers to as simply Mats. And Ruby can be used for many purposes, not just for web applications. It's just a general programming language. In fact, on lynda.com we offer Ruby Essential Training, which is training for the Ruby programming language. The second half, though, is Rails. So what is Rails, or Ruby on Rails? It is an open source web application framework that is written in the Ruby language. It was created in 2003 by David Heinemeier Hansson, who the community often refers to as simply DHH. And it was created as the foundation of 37 Signal's Basecamp application and then released as open source in 2004. Now, if you remember, Ruby was created in 1995, so it was already out there and existed. And then David Heinemeier Hansson came along and said, oh, you know what, wouldn't it be great to write this web application framework in the Ruby language? So what exactly is a web application framework then? Here's my definition. A framework is a set of code libraries and data structures that are going to provide generic functionality which can be used, overridden, or further specialized. So it's the code libraries and data structures. That's really what it is. And it's going to do things for us and help us to do things. So why not just call it a library then, right? A code library. Well, the main difference is that the framework is going to do more than just the library would. It's going to dictate the flow control of the program, and it's also going to have a lot of default behaviors built in. Libraries typically don't do anything until you ask them to. The Rails framework is actually going to do things on its own as a default behavior. Now, Ruby on Rails is not the only web framework there is. There are frameworks in other languages, Java, PHP, Perl, Python, ASP.NET, and there are even other frameworks that are written in Ruby. But Ruby on Rails has become a very popular web framework to develop in. And in the next movie, we'll look at why you would want to use Ruby on Rails.